Blizzard has finally broken their silence on Overwatch 2, and it looks like we're going to be playing the game fairly soon. Not now, but fairly soon. The first phase of testing is going to be a closed NDA testing for Overwatch League players, Blizzard staff, and other special people that aren't us. So that's kind of the bad part in the immediate future, but they have worded this, and their video made it seem like we're going to have this thing pretty soon. And to be honest, it really doesn't make a lot of sense for Overwatch League to be playing it for a long time and then not to have the general public play it. It really doesn't make much sense. So I think we're going to be playing this thing fairly soon. But the first phase of testing, unfortunately, is not going to be us. Probably not going to be very many people at all. But then they are going to be opening up the closed beta even further. I imagine it'll be similar to Overwatch 1, this phase. I really dislike this. I'd rather them just open it up entirely, because closed betas, especially this one, which I don't think is going to have an NDA, they're not very effective. And even if it did have an NDA, it's definitely not going to be effective, because this is going to be botted into oblivion. And to be honest, guys, I'm probably just going to buy myself into the beta. If I don't get into the beta, I'm probably just going to buy myself into it. And that's why I don't really agree with these closed betas in the first place, because it's always heavily manipulated by people that have botnets that just create millions of accounts to get in and then sell the access. And I'll fucking buy it. If it's I did it for Valorant, I'll do it for this. Whatever. If it's like $5-10, I'll buy myself into it. So I really disagree with that. I'd really rather them just open it up. But, I mean, it is what it is. They're doing it for some reason. I don't know. There was no mention of any sort of Twitch drops or anything like that, which I'm pretty okay with. I really don't like the whole artificially inflate your viewers for things. I never have liked that. I thought it was kind of cheesy. I've never really liked it. But let's talk about Overwatch 2 itself. I haven't really talked about Overwatch 2, but I'm actually very excited for Overwatch 2. I really enjoy Overwatch, and the things that I don't like about Overwatch are things that are being addressed. I really, really am going to be excited for One Tank. I think One Tank and 5v5 in Overwatch is going to be great for me. A lot of the frustrations I have with Overwatch come down to tanks, and more importantly, tank synergy. The game is not fun with double shields. Orisa, Sigma, I can't stand. I'm so tired of facing Orisa, Sigma. It's so annoying shooting shields all game, and by the time you get them down, they're back in like 2 seconds. It's not fun. And when you're not facing double shield, you're facing something with a Roadhog, and it's not fun to have to sit there and babysit Roadhog all game, or else you get instant killed. I get that zoning is a skill, and I get that, keeping track of the Roadhog is a thing, but it's just not fun to have to play a lot of your games that way. And when it's not double shield and it's not a Roadhog, then you're facing usually a duo, Ryan Zarya. And if they're coordinated and they're even just a little bit better than your tanks, they're going to take over the game. And so much of Overwatch is decided by how good your tanks are, and more importantly, how good your tank synergy is. Two tanks that are in sync with each other in Overwatch 1, it's incredible. It's incredibly powerful. This is coming from a guy that used to main Zarya. I was one of the people that ran Ryan Zarya, Season 1 before everybody else kind of figured it out. So I get that it's fun, but the amount of power in the tank synergies is very, very problematic. Not only is One Tank going to be a lot more fun for the players, it's also going to be more fun for Blizzard, because it's way easier to balance one tank. You can make tanks with crazy abilities when you don't have to worry about broken tank synergies. And guess what, tank players? You can be much more powerful now. Your Reinhardt can be insanely OP if there's just one of them. You can have tanks that are almost just outrageous now when there's only one of them, and you don't have to worry about these problematic synergies like Orisa, Sigma. So it's going to be great. I'm really enjoying that. And tanks in Overwatch, to be honest, they're kind of the cock blockers of fun. When you're getting ready to have like a pop-off moment, or you're like going on a flank and you see the enemy team open up, and then it's just like, oh, here comes Sigma shooting his shield across the field. Oh, here comes Orisa, shoots her shield across the field, stops your, crazy flank, your crazy play. Generally, the people that ruin the fun in Overwatch are the tanks. Or when you're in those hopeless situations where your team is just getting pushed and you just can't get any momentum rolling, usually it's because the tanks on the other team are just way better than your tanks, or they're running a better synergy. So much of this game's problems comes down to the tanks, and I'm very excited that we're only going to have one of them. And as somebody that does like to play tank, I'm excited that, Zarya can all of a sudden just be outrageous now when, all of the power of two tanks goes to her. And you have a lot more room to have individual impact in Overwatch 2 because it's 5v5. Not only are the tanks going away, which, really cockblock you, but it's one less person. So you as an individual, just by that sheer fact of that alone, means you're going to have more impact. So, yeah, and we haven't even gotten to the main meat and potatoes of Overwatch 2, which is new heroes, new maps, and most importantly, the removal of 2CP. I absolutely hate 2CP. Not because I absolutely hate the game mode, but because the maps of 2CP generally are just so claustrophobic. There's not any flank, right? It's all very meat grindery. Hanamura is the only one that is somewhat not the worst thing in the world. It's the third worst 2CP map out of 3 maps, if that's anything. But Volskaya is so annoying because almost all the games end up in ties. You play a 20-minute match to fucking tie. And Anubis, I just literally all F4 out of Anubis. Anubis is such a fucking meat grinder that it's just unfun. The 2CP maps, for the most part, are just meat grinders where you don't have any room to go. There's just so much. It's just bashing heads together. It's so annoying. I can't stand 2CP. I'm so glad that's gone. The new push game mode looks much more freeform. It is a bit meat grindery in the sense of it's very deathmatchy, but based off of the map designs we've seen thus far, there's flank routes. There's ways to be more creative with your movement, and it's not just going down choke points and dying and running back, and it just seems better. So I'm just excited that 2CP is finally gone. Honestly, it's a real shame that they have let us continue to play 2CP in Overwatch 1. Why they haven't removed 2CP in Overwatch 1 is something I type in chat every time I get 2CP. I cannot believe they're forcing us to still play this garbage that they know it's garbage. That's why it's so annoying, is because they know it's bad, yet they still force us to play it. So Overwatch 2, very excited. I think that I think we're going to see a lot more kills and deaths in Overwatch 2. I think things are just going to be sped up. You're going to see a lot more team fights. I think that we might see a lessened respawn timer because, quite frankly, I just think we're going to, the team fights are going to be faster. I think there will still be team fights. I don't think it's going to be like Call of Duty TTKs where, it's bah, and it's over really quick, because there is still quite a bit of healing. There are still a lot of abilities that save you. There are still Zarya bubbles and shields and ultimates and things like that. So I do think we're still going to have team fights, but I don't think we're going to have these big, long, drawn-out team fights that can sometimes happen where it's just so much healing is going out and everybody's got defenses and CC and things just never end with break healing. And yeah, I think a lot of that's going to go away, honestly, because 2 tanks are going away. So the tanks really just elongate the engagements in Overwatch 1. So excited, dude. What do you guys think of Overwatch 2? I can't wait to play it. A lot of the things I hate about Overwatch 1 are getting solved with this new game. And I'm sure it's not going to be perfect. I'm sure it's going to be a complete clusterfuck at the start with balance. But, dude, I think it's going to be a really fun time.